Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us here for Out of Pocket with BadBoys. Ric Jones and Kenny Jones, Koby Pilgrim, and the world famous Mike D. We're here tonight talking about how we got into pool. I believe we're starting out with Ric Jones, how he got into the business and just into billiards in general.
Oh my
Ric
God.
Jones, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm
Pretty
doing
good.
good. Your story kind of started in Portland a little bit. Is that right? Oregon?
Well, so no, actually, I started in North Carolina, believe it or not. I got into the military. I was at Fort Bragg. Went to the PX one day to buy some cigarettes, and there was a pool table there. So I sat down, I was drinking a beer, and this guy goes, "Hey, you want to play some pool?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And I won the first game, and then he come over and he gave me $2. I'm like, "What's that for?" He goes, "Well, we were playing for $2."
Ah.
So then I just started playing, and then when I got out of the service, I moved to Portland, Oregon, where I met. Well, actually, I met Bonnie before that, but moved back to Portland, and her dad was a pool player,
Okay.
and I was sitting there talking at the house one night about, I was playing pool and I liked it, and he's like, "Oh, well, let's go play some pool." So we went and played pool, and at that time, I could just, if I saw the ball, I could make it, but I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
Um, and then one day I was doing auto body and paint work. I was apprentice at the time, and then things at work were kind of getting a little crappy. And Bonnie's dad was he would always talk about Alaska. So one day I was like, "Fuck this shit, man. Let's go to Alaska." And he's like, "Okay, let's do it." So I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning the next morning. I loaded up the car, and he came outside. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We're going to Alaska." So we went to the bar and we played pool all day, and then we went back and we told the women, "Hey, we're going to go to Alaska." So 2 days later, we drove to Alaska, and then just in Alaska, I went into a bar, started playing pool. I was, I could, like I said, if I saw the ball, I could make the ball. Started playing pool league. I started playing BCA pool league in 1989, which I can go on a ramble about that in a minute. But uh, about a year later, I wanted to play in the Fur Rondi. There was a pool hall across the street from the bar I was playing at called the Billiard Palace that Mark Griffin owned. I went in there and played in the Fur Rondi. I bought myself for $5 in the Calcutta. I didn't even know what it was. I was playing a guy named Paul Miller, who I think that year he won the tournament. I went through 3 or 4 guys that went for $300-400 in the Calcutta, beat them, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
And you went
I
for
had
5.
Paul Miller. It was race to 5. I had Paul Miller down 3-0. I was in the final. I want to say the final 12, and he played a safe on me, and I was like,
You
"What?"
motherfucker.
He said, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "Safe." I'm like, "What is that?"
I don't feel
He goes,
safe.
"I'm just playing a safe, dude. I'm not trying to make the ball." I'm like, "What the hell?"
You're allowed to do that? Yeah.
I didn't know, dude. So, I 3-rail kicked. I made a good hit on the ball, but I didn't make it. And then he knew right then how to beat me. And he whooped my ass from there. But when it was done, he said, "Hey, come in Friday night. I'll teach you how to play pool." I was like, "All right." And then he started teaching me about all the safeties and spin, and he absolutely fucked my game up. Because he started
Yeah.
using English, and oh yeah, dude, it was. But then I absolutely fell in love with it because I love the chess. I love the strategic part of it. Um, yeah, and then like the next year, I played in the Fur Rondi, and I was playing with a girl that couldn't play that good, but I study people really well, so I knew her game really good. We bought ourselves for $10 in the Calcutta and finished second and got like $900 in the Calcutta, and I don't remember what the tournament payout was. It was like 400, $500, and I was hooked.
Wow.
And that was Mark Griffin, and that was my connection to Mark Griffin. And then, we could go further, but let's hear how you guys got started before I start talking about how we moved to Vegas and did Bad Boys and stuff.
I mean, I should insert my story real quick. So, like, he played pool, and I remember as a kid, the pool community, a lot of the kids of them would all end up like staying together during the week of the Ferrandi event, and like the adults would just kind of come in like in and out in between their matches, for like the whole week of the event, which was pretty fun. But
Oh yeah.
other than that,
I gradually got better and better. I ended up getting at least a top 3 finish in all the disciplines: 8-ball, 9-ball, one pocket, straight pool, and golf.
Wow.
And there were some big players up there, and I think they all kind of scooted out about the time I scooted out. I moved to Vegas in 2005 after Mark Griffin bought the BCA Pool League in 2004. But yeah, you had Bill Stock, who was a phenomenal player. Don Werdeman. I think you've met Don Werdeman, maybe, Mike.
Yeah, definitely have. Yeah.
God damn. Another
Now,
one.
I didn't realize Bill Stock was a
think
hell of a pool player.
Yeah. Mark Tullis, who was the Alaskan Assassin.
Junior left.
Junior Waco, who moved down to Texas. Sean Morgan, who moved to New York. He's a strong player. I played all those guys. God, I can't think of Colby's last name.
Yeah,
He moved down to Washington,
there was
I think.
a huge shift in the pool scene for sure.
There were a lot of great
I read
players.
about that era.
Yeah, and they all started fading out about, I want to say 2000 to 2005. They all were pretty much moving out of the state. I mean, there's still some great players there, but
for sure.
Yeah, 2005 is. I begged Mark, dude, I want to be in the pool world. I want to do that. I mean, I was doing body and paint. You breathe all the paint fumes and stuff is bad for you. Banging on fenders, and insurance companies were getting too deep into the company or to the business, so you weren't making as much money. So
things are so much more clear now already.
No, and Alaska was great, dude. I mean, I could, for the first 10 years of playing pool, I could make a ton of money just playing $10 games all day long in a bar, and never play anybody that had any skill. But then when I really got deep into pool, we'd go play golf. I played golf for 2 years. I quit playing 8-ball, any of that stuff, for 2 years. I played nothing but golf.
I remember the pool table in the house,
and I learned so much from that. And I think that's probably one of the things that holds women back. It's, because I was playing 8-ball. 8-ball's my game. 8-ball and one pocket I love, but golf I love. I hate 9-ball. And I'm not a big fan of straight pool just because I get bored with it. But I played all those games, and I tried to learn everything about those games. So I think that just made me a better player. And I think that's one thing women don't do. It's like they focus in on 9-ball or something. They don't play the one pocket. They don't play the straight pool or the golf. I mean, I learned a lot from golf. Just being able to play a safe with one ball on the table is, and we played for, we'd play. We've had $50 game for the win and $5 per hickey games. I mean, we didn't do that a lot, but usually it was 5-1 or 10-2. But yeah, that's my.
Did you do loser pays time on the golf table? The sellout,
no,
the guy
we
that
usually
sells
just played our
out
own
the
times.
6-hole. I mean,
the guy that sold out on the 6-hole paid double.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you sold out the 6-hole and you had, if we were playing 5-1, so you paid 10, and you paid $2 for every hickey to the winner.
Right.
So you double. You had to pay double.
Yeah.
And I ran out from the first shot on the golf table. That's how good I was back then. I don't even think I can make 3 balls in a row now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ran out on a golf table.
That's tough action, man. That's tough to do.
Yeah, I would say probably at the peak of my game, I was probably around a 680-ish, just based off of what I watch now.
Right.
Yeah, I think my Fargo's dropped all the way down to 580, but they don't have a score in there, right? I played Glenn Atwell at the bar table. He beat me Hill, and the score in this thing is 5-0. And that was the year that Glenn
wow.
Atwell was. That was the year he was in all 3 finals at the U.S. bar table.
Dude, man.
So the last time I played pool was at the bar table, and Stan Taringa won the 9-ball, and I think he beat me.
Snap the 9 on Glenn, right?
He beat me 9-6 though to put me on the loser side. And then, I was running the tournament, so once I got to the loser side, I just didn't play the last match because it's tough gig to run a tournament and play in it. So
isn't that the year that Stan won on the 9-ball break? He broke the 9 playing Glenn.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's how he won the 9.
Yeah.
The 9-ball division.
I think it might even been Hill, man.
He didn't sign up for.
I think he forfeited. I think that year Stan forfeited in the 8-ball.
Put him in for the.
He went up. We were at the
Grand Sierra.
Yeah, the Grand Sierra, and he had lost track of time. And we had just forfeited him when he came running through the door.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we did the math after. If he would have won the next match, he would have got the all around that year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, that's so brutal.
It hurts. It still hurts.
I hate it when anybody forfeits, but yeah. So I mean that's my pool career to BadBoys in a nutshell. I mean, obviously when we do some more episodes, we can get a lot more detailed. I don't want to eat up a whole show on me. I'm sure when we start talking about BadBoys, I'll eat up 4 or 5 episodes of.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's
20
cool.
years of pool, running tournaments.
Why are you throwing stuff
I don't know, dude.
What are you doing?
Koby, how about you, man? What brought you to pool?
My dad.
Yeah.
As I was telling them earlier, the earliest memory I have of anything pool related, my dad was best buddies with a firefighter that had a snooker table in his garage. And they would go over there once a week, and I would always throw a fit till he took me with him. And so I would just sit up on top of the workbench or the toolbox or whatever I could get up on so I could see and watch and aggravate everybody there until I fell asleep before I got in trouble. And then, fast forward, bowling alleys always have pool tables. Typical kid. There's a pool table and I want to play with it, but I don't have a clue what I'm doing.
Right.
And then pretty much, I think my junior year of high school, maybe senior year, we started going over a friend's house and actually playing to the point that it's okay, this is something I want to start doing. And kind of progress from there. It really started, I used to joke that I started just to get good enough to be my dad, but, I realized that really probably wasn't a very funny statement. But yeah. So we've grown together. It's been pretty fun. We played Scotch doubles together. We've won, state for Moose Lodge. Some of the Moose tournaments we've won together. It's been pretty good memories. So
I know a lot of your stuff is Moose Lodge related, right? Which is all ages.
Yeah, that's pretty much around here. So I had my daughter when I was 19. I've had sole custody since she was 2, so I had to go somewhere that I could take her with me. And the Moose Lodge was the place. So, but they had a pretty good pool program. They still have probably the best program in town. So
that's cool, man.
So
that's
cool.
Well, and they're cheaper to play too, right?
Yeah. So
I think Elks Club is the same way up in Alaska.
We still have 50-cent tables. I mean, yeah, it's pretty affordable.
50 cents.
Yeah.
The dream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
All right. What about Mike D there?
Oh, we're gonna get more details out of you in a little bit. But yeah, let's hear how Mike got into pool. What drew him into the sickness?
Oh man, I worked for my dad at his insurance agency from like 10 or 11 years old. And his insurance agency just answering phones, filing, stuff like that. At first to get money for a BMX bike, and then just after that in summers. And I did that really until I was in my early 20s. And his insurance agency was just happened to be one of the storefronts of Sandy Lane's bowling alley. Like Koby had mentioned, there's pool tables at a lot of bowling alleys, and this was one that there were 6 pool tables there. And yeah, I was always drawn to them. I would get a break. I mean, I worked for my dad like that. I'd get a break and I'd go get the balls for the pool tables. Everything for me was free at the bowling alley.
Right.
All the pop, all the pool I wanted to play, everything was free. His best friend owned the bowling alley, and we had different doors that we went through that were only for the people who owned the business to get around the bowling alley. So we had our own private access to it and the whole deal. And yeah, I just started playing pool on those little 8-foots at Sandy Lanes. And then as I got older, 14, 15, started gambling with the guys around there, and also happened to move about 3 blocks away from a place called Paul's Classic Billiards here in Portland on 122nd and Powell. It's still there. So I was within walking distance of a pool hall. And I had, like I say, we moved into that neighborhood, and I very quickly heard that there was an all ages pool hall. And I didn't believe it. I rode my bike up there for the first time and just looked in the window. This was at a time when juice bars were popular. So those were under 21 dance clubs, but you had to be 18 to get in them too. Rick, if you're my age or older, you know what I'm talking about. Juice bars were popular. So I thought that the pool hall was probably had juice bar rules where you had to be over 18. So I just didn't believe it was all ages, and it was all ages. And I started going in there, and I stopped eating lunch at school so I could have my lunch money. And I'd go home from school every day and eat a couple sandwiches, and then immediately go to the pool hall. And it was $1.25 a day I got for lunch. And I would go spend my $1.25 at Classic Billiards on table time. And I did that 5 days a week until I was, I'd say 16, 17. And I started gambling and started making enough money to where I always had money in my pocket for pool time and for gambling, and was able to eat lunch at school again. And, you know,
how far did
how
far did that $1.25 go back then? How much was table time? Do you remember?
Yes, I do actually. It would have been about an hour, Koby, but a lot of times they would charge me 75 cents no matter what I did. They were really good to us kids that were those of us that, you know, it's pools like that in all levels and all forms. I feel like when you see somebody who's practicing and trying all the time, you know, that's the guy you give tips to. That's the guy that you'd give your old cue to.
Yeah.
That's the guy that they give free pool to. You know, when you see somebody trying real hard, you know, you know, and so that was my story. And then also we had golf games at Grand Central, pretty famous afternoon golf game. And throughout high school, I would skip school and go down there to Grand Central and play in that golf game a little bit. Yeah, and that was definitely a part of my pool experience too. Rick was playing golf there at Grand Central. It was the guy that sold out the 6th hole had to pay the time, and that was brutal. That was if you play golf games in the afternoon,
that could be a lot more than double.
You'll understand when I say I'd go down, I'd get a large French fry and a pop at that golf game, and they thought I was a big spender, man. You know, this was an old man golf game where they played every day starting at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and, you know, fixed incomes and the whole deal. And it was mean, man. You know, don't screw up. Do not, you know, if my guy's on the 6th hole and you hook me on my guy, you know, I'm pissed, man. You know, we're going to have to talk about that. You know, there's some real serious, strict rules in a golf game about, you know, we got to team up at times,
and get hostile.
You know. And if you don't get that, old men get mad.
The whole purpose is to keep that person from winning.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
See, I'd say that's pretty much my story, man. And then I played 14 hours a day, 2 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week until I was in my mid-20s. Koby, I also got sole custody of my son when he was about 6, I'd say. And then he was with me for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
My sister ended up getting a pool table at home. And yeah, that's pretty much my story.
Yeah.
So here's something you probably don't know, Koby. I moved to Portland, Oregon in 1983. Met Bonnie in high school. But Mike D was just talking about Sandy Lanes. That's where I used to go bowl. I lived off of 33rd. So 33rd and Sandy. So, I mean, it's not even a mile away.
Right.
Small world.
So that's how small it is. I didn't meet Mike till 8-9 years ago, Mike?
Yeah, and I was on 33rd in Alberta, Rick. That's where I lived. Was 33rd in Alberta.
Oh yeah, that's close.
Yeah, seriously, deep northeast, man. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of funny because
never crossed paths, but
I have a sister that's 6 years older than me, and the first house they bought when she got married and moved out of the house, she bought a house that was 3 doors down from Delana, and neither one of us had ever crossed paths until once I got home and started playing pool at the Moose and all that. And then come to find out, she told me where she lived. I was like, no shit. Like 3 doors down. My sister lives there. You know?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's crazy how small worlds are. Yeah, so I remember hearing, I guess, the dorm rooms at OSU where my parents met. I remember my old man telling me it was a penny a minute to play pool, and they would play.
Really?
Yeah.
A penny a minute, huh?
Yeah. So 60 cents an hour.
Jeez.
I'd love to have that pricing nowadays. Of course, I got a penny a minute here. I just had to pay in advance. So I haven't done the math, but I'm going to get it down to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a table at home is the way to go, man. Oh, yeah. I just, that's what's up.
Yeah, we've had valleys and stuff, and they've always been in a shop building behind our old house. It wasn't insulated, so in the winter we'd play pool in jersey gloves, the brown cotton gloves, and in the summer, the doors open. We got 8 fans blowing just to keep you cool. And I always thought it was cool because we had a free pool table, and then it was brutal enough conditions that if you weren't serious about playing, you didn't come over. So it was it's kind of a win-win situation.
I told Greg Sullivan one time, man, you changed my life, Greg Sullivan. I got a 7-foot at home, and you changed my life, man. You did. I really appreciate what you've done, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he liked hearing that.
Yeah.
That's real talk, man. I've had mine for 10 years or something like that. I just love my diamond. My 7-foot diamond, man, it's my prized possession, and I use the heck out of it. I use it every day. Right now I'm practicing because it's winter time. I'm trying to hit 200 balls a day. It's nice to have, man. And as a guy with kids and a family, it's hard to, and I don't want to get out of the house. It's hard to get out of the house to hit 200 balls a day. When you got it at home, that's the way to go.
Well, without diamonds, I probably wouldn't have got into this business.
Yeah.
The thing I loved about the diamonds was, we grew up on Mark Griffin's place up in Anchorage was all antique tables.
Right.
So I love 9-footers. I play 9-footer or golf on a 12-footer. And, he had brought up a diamond because he, bought into diamond. And then
the old prototype.
Yeah. So he brought in a diamond 9-footer and he put downstairs, and then he had hot rods, which was upstairs, and was old 50s cafe. They had skeet ball up there originally and some pool tables, and it was kind of like a dance club kind of thing. But he put 2 diamond 7-footers up there, and I was playing league because all the leagues were on 7-footers.
Okay.
But the minute I got onto a 7-foot diamond, I went, shit, dude, I can play pool on a 7-footer. Before that,
actual pool.
Right. Yeah. Before that on a valley, I could play great. I could play great on a valley. However, to me, it's not even the same thing. Right? Like on a valley table, you don't roll the balls. You would shoot the cue ball and slide it over. The more rolling the ball did, the farther away from where you would be. Right? You didn't know where the hell it was going to roll to, so you didn't want the ball to roll, right? Because the valley, this valley over here is not going to be the same as this valley over here, right? You go down and play at
You gotta
nationals, and it's like
you
I'd
gotta
go on.
punch the balls out of Valley.
Oh, dude, you don't want the ball to roll. So
Yeah.
it wasn't even the same game. So then when Diamonds came out and I played on that, and then Mark Griffin bought the BCA, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I want to do this. Right? They're gonna because I knew then they were gonna move nationals to diamond tables.
Right.
I was sold, dude. I begged and begged. Mark didn't want to hire me either. I think I just bugged him enough. And then that year, 2005, I took a month off from work. Every year I'd go down to nationals and I'd play, and I always drew a 9 a.m. match, and I'd lose the first match every friggin' year. And then, you come in the next day, and usually my match would start at like 4 or 5 p.m. and I'd play great till midnight. And every year I'd get a little deeper, always in the money for 10 years. But I would just creep one round further.
Yep.
Well, I got tired of losing that first match, so I took a month off from. In the summertime, the auto body and paint shit, you don't make as much money. You're not as busy. So the winter before my last year in Alaska, I decided, you know what? I want to go down to nationals. I think I could win this tournament. I'm getting good. I'm getting consistent, right? So I told my boss that I'm gonna work my ass off this winter, and then I'm taking, April, May, and June. I'm taking off. And he's like, okay, that's cool. So I took off April, and I had bought a tail. I had an AMF. I'm at home. I'm just playing pool all day long, every day, working on my break. So what I would do before, I got my month off. Before that, like a month before that, I'd get up at 5 a.m. and I'd play pool till 7 and then go to work.
Okay.
Because I'd never played pool in my life, dude, before 5 p.m. Because I didn't pick up the game until I got out of the military, basically. Right? So I work all day. So I never played pool before 5 p.m. So I'd get up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and I'd play for an hour or two. Then I'd go to work. And I'd come home after work and I'd play. So the month before, I'd get up at 5 and I'd play from probably 5 to 10. Then I'd go do stuff all day and then I'd come back and I'd play. So that year I went to nationals and I'd been begging Mark for a job. I want to be in the pool world. So I finished 9th at that tournament. And he, at the end of the tournament, he's like, okay, cool. Pack up your stuff. I'll hire you. So
if you'll just
I think I had to play
nagging
good
me.
in the tournament for him to go, okay, you're a player now.
Yeah.
Sure, you can come along, right?
Yeah.
I just remember that long stretch of playing is like the root cause of why I hate racking balls now. Because I was very little at the time.
Because it was you doing
He
it.
just beat me over and like mercilessly, right?
Yeah.
Here, go rack the balls. Here, go rack the balls.
Yeah.
Here, go rack the balls. So that's probably why I hate fucking racking.
I got pictures of Gabby doing that, and I've got Cedric doing it too. Like, you're not racking balls. Faster. Come on.
Again. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good times, dude. I think pool probably kept me out of bad situations. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, it's when you're young and you're in the bars and you're partying, you get a little rowdy. But when you start taking pool serious and stuff, then it's like I don't have time to get drunk and rowdy. I want to. And for me, pool, I wanted everybody to go, that dude can play. That was my mindset all the time. Is I want people to go, that dude can play, because I have mass respect for the game. So if people look at me and go, that dude can play pool, then I feel like I've succeeded in the game, right? Like people respect me because I respect the game, kind of thing. So that was my driving force. And go ahead and piss me off and tell me I can't do something.
Yeah, tell you that's the real.
There's a whole lot of people in this world that are learning. You need to quit doing that with me. So.
And don't laugh at his jokes. Then he thinks he's funny.
But yeah, that's my story up to BadBoys right there.
Yeah,
well, that's funny. Cool, man.
So you said that Mark's place was called the Billiard Palace, and when I went to college, we were 30 minutes south of Tulsa, and we went to Magoo's was the pool hall, and I thought that was the coolest place ever. And then somebody talking. I mean, the atmosphere was awesome. You weren't in there unless you were serious about pool, and so naturally when we show up, we're just some punk ass kids, and it had the dress code. No backwards hats, no saggy pants. You're
Right.
gonna.
That's the way Mark was,
That's
man.
not that kind of
Yeah.
place. Well, then I heard there was a place a little further down the road that was 24 hours, which was boom perfect for a college kid, called the Billiard Palace.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
so that's pretty much the reason I don't have a college degree at the moment.
Right.
Is the Billiard
Yeah.
Palace.
Well, I'll tell you, the Billiard Palace up in Anchorage, dude, was just phenomenal. It was actually in, I want to say, the Billiard Encyclopedia 10th edition or something.
That place
Yeah.
had
Yeah, Mark could tell
a
you, but
great vibe.
it was
Yeah.
like at one time I think it was the biggest collection of antique tables.
Yeah.
It was well, I mean, you guys have been in Griff's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, it didn't have that look, but it was that classy.
Right.
You know,
And
Dude,
that
Mark,
yeah.
Cool vibe.
That's what Magoo's had. It wasn't dark, but it had that perfect casino like atmosphere where you didn't
Right.
always know what time of day it was, and it didn't matter.
Right.
You could stay in there all day,
Hey,
and it felt the same.
I got to go back a little bit, Rick. When Mark and the Diamonds were first developing and BCA and all that kind of stuff, how excited were you guys that these tables were a different animal when it came to transporting them and the carts and all that kind of stuff? I mean, did you recognize that was going to change everything?
For me, I didn't know anything about that. Nothing.
Okay.
So here's how my relationship with Diamond started. So it was 2000.
It would have been like
Derby City
7 or 8.
5 or 6.
Because it was just a year before I came.
So
down.
I think Derby City. I think the first Derby City was 1999. I didn't know anything about it. Mark Griffin, apparently somewhere in there, bought into Diamond or whatever, or maybe he hadn't even done that at that point. And Mark had put a Diamond table in at the Billiard Palace in Anchorage. I want to say it was like 2003 or 4. It must have been 2003 because I flew down twice, I think. Mark said, "Hey, you want to go to a really cool tournament?" And, my game was good enough then that Mark noticed me. And I'll tell you a funny story about Bill Stock later too. But he said, "You want to go see a really cool tournament?" I said, "Sure." He goes, "Well, I'm gonna send you to Derby City and just help Diamond out, help him set up and stuff, and I'll make sure they put you in a room and you can go down and play in that tournament." I was like, "All right, sounds cool to me." I was nowhere knew what the hell any of that shit, right?
Okay.
So I fly there, I get there, I meet Chad and help him set up, and Chad's like, "Well, yeah, I want you to be the door guy." So I have to sit there at the door and check people's wristbands before they're allowed into the room. And I do that for, I don't know, 8 hours a day, and then I'd go play pool. Well, I'd go to the action room. And back then it was at the old place. Yeah, I can't think of the name of it now.
Horseshoe.
But up towards the front, there was a
Right.
Executive West.
Executive West.
Yeah.
Up at the front, there was like a registration desk. And then behind that was a bar. And then inside the bar, there was like a stage behind the bar, but it was a full room. And Diamond had, I want to say, probably 8 or 10 tables set up in there. And that was 24/7 game. Keith McCready's there, Grady Matthews, Tony Watson, Cliff Joyner. At the time, I didn't know any of these guys. But, dude, I was hooked just watching these guys play. I think I made play 10 games of pool the whole week because I just wanted to watch. I'll bet you when I went home after that event, I was 2 balls better player. Just from watching these guys play at such a high level. It was insane, dude. It was so much fun. The next year I went, I entered all the events. The In the bank pool, I played George Breedlove. He beat me hill last ball. I was happy. I didn't have much money at the time, so I only entered. I didn't buy back in.
It's about how we got tied in with Diamond.
Yeah. Anyway, so
helping you out.
Hold on, I'm gonna finish this up. So in the one pocket, I got to play Jay Helfert. I had no idea who that guy was.
Wow.
And we had a 3.5 hour one pocket match.
Jeez.
And it was Hill. And
Wow.
he beat me. But I didn't know who he was, right? I mean, who the hell's Jay Helfert, right? I'm from Alaska. We don't have that kind of access, right? And then in the 9-ball, I draw Jeanette Lee. Now, I knew who Jeanette Lee was. And at the time, my hair was almost as long as hers. And I'm like, oh, my God, I got to play Jeanette Lee. Please don't put me on the TV table, right? Because I just didn't want to look bad. But they put me over in front of the tournament desk, which is one table from the TV table. I'm like, oh, my God, dude. I was so nervous. But she ends up beating me hill. And what the funny part of that whole thing was, every time, no matter how easy the shot was, she'd make a shot and they'd clap. I made a double ball. I jumped one ball and hopped over half of another ball to make the one that she had hooked me and run out. Nothing, dude. So I turn, and this is like 5-5 is the score. I turn to the crowd and I go, what is it, the hair? I got hair. Can't be the hair. I turned around and wiggled my butt and I said, it must be the ass. And I get down and shoot in the 9, right? Had a blast. But then she ends up beating me. No big deal. I had so much fun, dude. I was hooked. So, yeah, then I was like, shit. When Mark put in the 7-foots in Alaska and I could play pool on him, dude, I was hooked. But that's all I knew about Diamond. When I went to work in Vegas, I didn't go there to set up tables or run pool tournaments. I was working in the office with Mark Griffin and the rest of them. And I just thought, well, we'll run nationals. So, yeah, that was not the intention, dude. The BadBoys was an accident. And we'll get to that later, but I'm sure we'll eat up a whole episode of that. But BadBoys was an absolute accident. A good one.
Right.
It was an accident.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So how'd your what about you, Koby? Did you play League and you just Moose Lodge and then what?
So I didn't start playing League obviously until I could get in the bars. And my old man had some friends that had 2 tables at their house. We used to go over there. They called it the party barn. We go over there every day pretty much after school. And they started having a tournament at the VFW. Turns out it was Delena's dad running it. Still at that point didn't know him. And Dad had been playing at this party barn, and they finally talked him into going to play this tournament. And then from there, it just kind of spawned into, okay, well, y'all need to come out to Moose Lodge. And then we have these leagues on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights, and it just kind of went from there. So started out playing VNEA on Tuesday nights, and then moved to playing that and BCA on Wednesday nights. And then the Moose had a little $5 entry tournament on Thursday nights, and then we drank all of those winnings away on Friday and Saturday, and then started over.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty good. It kept me, same thing, it kept me out of trouble because most of the bars I would drink on Fridays and Saturdays, but I'd drink to the point that, I was still young, wasn't responsible with it. But when I was shooting pool, for the most part, when I was shooting pool, it kept me kind of reeled in a little bit. So yeah, it's probably kept me out of a lot of trouble that I would have normally been in.
I think it's helped me too as an adult. As an example, when we go around the country to these pool tournaments, there's not a part of me that really wants to gamble till 5 in the morning because I've gambled till 5 in the morning so many times that it's just not as fun for me as it was at the time. You know what I mean? Now I get
Right.
into action and I dread being up $100 on somebody and them not wanting to quit.
Right.
You know, I hate marathon pool, man. And my worst case scenario is
You're an old man, man.
my worst case scenario is to be up $84 on somebody or something, and now I got to play them all goddamn night because they're not going to quit and I can't quit them because
Yeah.
I won't quit anybody up. You know, that's old school. I won't quit when I'm up, but Jesus, yeah, I'd rather lose 80.
It's like, yeah.
It's almost
You're
worse being up.
officially an old man.
That's real, man. That's real. I'm hoping to
That's
do the
true.
action room at Derby this time. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
You better
But-
start staying up
yeah,
late now.
but-
Get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm fully prepared. I've been staying up till
Yeah,
7
old
or 8
Mike, he's
o'clock.
an early bird, man.
I went to bed at 9 a.m.
Yeah,
this morning.
He's
Oh man. Yeah, no, I'm definitely a 10 o'clock guy, man. It's
Yeah.
after 10 o'clock I turn into a pumpkin, man.
Yeah.
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 yeah, see, I don't know, dude. My life is so weird running pool tournaments and running them all over the country.
Yeah.
Time means nothing in this house
Yeah,
anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
it-
for most of my life, we lived on the West Coast, so I think I'm a little bit wired for that.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is like here, we don't go to bed until 1 or 2 in the morning. Get up at 9 or 10 in the morning. You know, but no matter where I go, wherever the tournament is, you know, we're always the morning crew. At least me and Bonnie are,
Yeah.
Right.
and it doesn't, and it's never bothered me. Just get up at 8
Yeah.
and get down to the tournament, and then I still don't go to bed till 11 or 12. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I got two 12-year-old girls that got to be up at 7 and get ready for school, and I take them both to school, and yeah, it's
Yeah, the girls
that keeps me
dude.
honest, man.
Kid, that's. I don't care what people say, dude. You go to job, that's relaxing compared to kids at home.
Yeah, it's just like, and then summer comes and you're like, oh my, thank God we can sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't you dare wake me up
Oh,
at 7
definitely,
o'clock.
I can't even imagine,
Yeah.
dude. Two teenagers at home, I'd be like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Oh, they're perfect, man. No, they're both perfect. They're both
Yeah.
perfect, man. Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they make me wake up, goddammit.
Yeah.
And it's getting cold right now, man. Here in Oregon, it's getting cold in the mornings, and I hate that.
Hurts a little bit, does
you
it?
know, the cool mornings are kind of nice once in a while.
Yeah.
The cats curl up in bed and talk to us in the morning.
Yep.
Hey, dude, can you like scoot over and let me under the blanket?
Right. Nice.
That's funny, dude. The interesting thing. So we put up a couple podcasts, right? And so we got some longtime followers from our streams, and I'm not gonna say his name, but one of our guys was like, "Well, hey, it was really nice to be able to put a face with the voices."
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
And then he said, "Yeah," and then he said, "Well, who's that Mike guy though? He looks a little too old to have a ponytail, and I don't know if I'd want him around my kids." And I'm thinking, oh, it's because you're kind of yelling into the mic, right, and getting used to this. I'm cracking up, dude. 'Cause I'm
Dude.
like, that's so far from the truth, dude. It's like he's excellent with kids, but
Well,
he's like, well, I don't know him, but
I'm definitely yelling too much, and I would have to say the odds of creepiness with a ponytail are pretty high, man. So I get it. No offense. There's a lot of Steven Seagals out there, man. I get it. I ain't mad.
Hey, if I could, I still would.
That's funny.
Oh, that's
too
funny, man.
So, Kenny, what about you? You were forced into it?
I mean, like I said, I got sucked into it from him. Growing up playing pool, for me actually, I had a different route into pool than a lot of people. I was oftentimes, late at night, I'd be playing pool till 3, 4, 5 in the morning by myself. It was kind of my defrag from everything, and I just go find the table when no one was on it and play for hours and hours and hours. I never really played league. It wasn't an option for me when I was growing up in Alaska. There wasn't a juniors league.
Right.
And then by the time I came up in the age of, being able to go into the billiard palace, that was kind of the mass exodus for a lot of the pool world that I knew. Bill Stock left. My folks, they headed down for running the BC, working with BCA. Out of my friends, I was the big scary pool dog, right?
Right.
I could beat everybody I knew, but I knew quite well that I was not nearly, the game that there could be, having gone to national
Oh, yeah.
times. So
Yeah, man.
it was
We thought.
interesting, and then for a couple years because you guys came down for like 3 years before I did.
It was 3 years.
Yeah, it was 3 years. So I'd go with like my friends, and we'd have our crazy stupid parties, and then I'd go out and we'd go to the local little pool hall there, the all ages one that didn't actually have halfway decent tables that was
Right.
close to us, and then started taking college classes for a while. I went up to Fairbanks, and I discovered quickly that I couldn't work, take classes, and go all the way back into Anchorage, party it up with everyone else. So I ended up not doing that for too long. And then they started doing the pool tournament thing. And I had known Mark Griffin for years and years. So, when they were like, hey, we're going to start running tournaments, come down, come do this with me, come do this with me. I was like, well, clearly I'm not doing, these college classes and work. I'm not getting ahead up here. I'll go ahead and give that a shot because I've been in the pool world forever. So I got sucked into the trap. And then,
Yeah.
And then the Bad Boys happened, and that's a whole. Yeah, I don't know how deep we want to go into that yet.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be
That's
Patreon
gonna have to be a
stuff.
Patreon episode. The birth of Bad Boys and the early journeys of utter silly shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. There was probably 5 or 6 of us at college, and we figured out real quick. I had a Kennedy toolbox, little machinist toolbox, and the key to that is the same lock setup. It's on Valley tables, and so my toolbox key would open the door where the balls are showing on a Valley, and then I figured out real quick that a shoe polish used to come in metal cans. If you wedge that between the rail and the body of the table, you could shut that back and the balls just drop. So we would play all night long for free. We just had to make sure we had.
That's called stealing.
Well, statute of limitations is well past.
I thought you said pool was keeping you out of trouble.
It kept me out of most of the trouble.
Yeah.
Actually, it did keep us out of trouble because we never got caught. So, but
hey,
yeah,
I gotta respect you though, because I've definitely heard all of that before, except making it so you only had to use the key one time.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot harder to catch on to. If you get in there just once and put that shoe polish thing in there, nobody ever knows nothing the whole night. It's getting in and out of that door 19 times that always causes the problem.
Yeah, and we just we had to get there.
You guys sound like veterans, man.
Yeah, I think shift change for the person looking over the area was like 7 or 8 o'clock. So we go eat dinner real quick. We come back. Somebody would distract them while we put the shoe polish can in, and then we'd play all night long. I mean,
and then you're good to go.
And then then we'd have to distract them again to take it out. And
why is there always a shoe polish can under this damn table?
Why?
Exactly.
These guys played all the time, but there's no money in here. Can they not run a?
Yeah, and
can't they make a shot?
I don't understand how they never caught on, because the next table over, we watched people take, the Dixie cup sitting in the pockets trying to catch the balls, or they'd have their buddies putting their hands in the pocket, and well, if I drill one into your hand, you're gonna be really mad, But not us. We could just shoot like normal, and they just kept dropping. So that was probably
I can't tell you the
best
things
memory
I've found inside a pool table.
Oh, I found some things.
And of course, then we start going to Billiard Palace. So we walk in one day, and we're shooting, and I'm looking at this guy at the table next to us. He looks really familiar, So I walk over to his buddy that's sitting in the chair waiting for his shot, and he kind of like tap him on the shoulder, like, "Hey, bud, is that Corey Dole?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
You think he'd give me his autograph? He's like, yeah, you got something to write on? It's like, not yet. I'll be right back. So I walked over their bulletin board with all their tournament flyers and yanked one off.
Yeah, you had a little steel streak in you, didn't you? Not even
Yeah.
your flying. Your
Yeah.
paper.
And so he gave, he signed it, no big deal. And I went back to my table, didn't bug him, no big deal. But I could overhear them sort of, they were laughing, chuckling about something,
Right.
And little did I know, I go home the next weekend, Pool's on TV still back then, and there's the guy just tapped on the shoulder shooting pool. It's Gabe Owen. Like, shit. I didn't even know who he was at the time. So,
Right.
like, man,
I got
that
two
sucks.
stories. My first story, I'm playing in the bar table championship. No. The Reno Open 9-foot tables, diamonds. I believe Rick was there for that. I
If
play
it was
Jose
diamonds, I
Perica.
was there.
Yeah, I think I know.
I play Jose Perica. I beat Jose Perica 9-8. My next match, I'm playing Gabe Owen. I don't know who Gabe Owen is.
Yeah.
We're in the smaller room now, and there's bleachers, and they're introducing everybody. And they're asking me, Ken Schuman's asking me about myself. He wants to introduce me somehow. I got nothing to say. Anyway, the point of my story is I'm talking to Gabe Owen, who at the time had been winning a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know him. And I'm telling him, man, I just got to play Jose Perica. It was amazing. What an amazing honor to be able to play the guy. And Dave's just going, yeah, that's neat, man. And then Ken Schumann, before we start, is going from table to table to table, introducing both players. He introduces me, and then he introduces Gabe. And like I say, Gabe had been winning a lot at that time.
Right.
So he names off like 6 things, and Gabe stands up, and everybody's clapping. And I'm just feeling like an idiot because I had just been fanboying out on Jose Perica to Gabe like Gabe was just some dude,
Did it immediately get warmer in that room when you realized
Yeah,
who
it
it
did.
was?
And I believe Gabe Owen felt some kind of way about that situation, to be honest with you. If you
Yeah.
know Gabe Owen, then
Yeah.
you could probably understand. He kind of felt some way about that thing, too. My other story is the funniest thing I've ever heard anybody say at Derby City Classic was Alex Pagulayan yelling at Corey Deuel, "You ruined pool, man. You ruined pool." Well, maybe you didn't ruin it. You ruined pool for about 5 or 6 years, you son of a bitch.
That is such the greatest thing about the pool world too, is we get to mingle with
Oh,
the top
man.
players.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. You just go to the tournaments,
Yeah.
and
When
yeah.
you don't need to fanboy out. They're human, I try to just talk them like they're, we went to school together. Kind
well,
of.
you're older and wiser
You know-
now, dude.
You know better than me.
There's-
I mean,
there's-
just in
there's
conversation, we're skilled the same.
Right. And at Derby City, there's a guy who always gets the VIP seating, and he sits in the middle. And if you saw the guy, you'd know the guy.
Stuart Matana.
And he's in a lot of events too,
Yeah.
the pro events. My buddy Matt McInnes talked to him one time, and the guy said, basically, long story short, financially he's doing pretty good, and he likes to follow a sport. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he just really feels like pool is a smart sport to follow because he sits 5 feet away from these guys while they shoot.
Yeah.
They're the world champions. He sees them. The VIP seating is basically. I mean,
Yeah, right.
it's not much for the whole week.
Yeah.
Plus, you're often getting headphones, so you get the commentators and stuff. He pays, he gets a nice hotel room and goes and sees that.
Oh, yeah.
He feels like he has the front row seat to all this stuff that,
He does.
if it was NBA or football or something, it'd be costing him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another cool thing about pool.
He's like Jennifer Beretta's current coach or was coach. And I know he's coached Tyler Steyer a little bit too, I think. Or
That's
maybe
cool,
that was
man.
Jerry. But yeah.
Okay.
I've seen the same guy for years, and we'll be over at Dad's
Yeah.
house, and he'd be like, I don't know who that guy is, but every one of these videos I watch, that guy's in that same spot.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, yeah, that guy's pretty cool. I talked to him last year, but I still didn't know his name. And he does.
Yeah.
He actually does really good reviews of the tournaments he goes to on AZ Billiards.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna fall in love with a sport, this is a good one to do it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
If you like
exactly.
that, you know, being able to, you know, shake the hand of a world champion and
yeah,
hang out with the
Seriously.
guys. And
Well,
Right.
your odds of getting to play them are pretty high too in this sport, right?
yeah.
I've gotten to
I've
play Warren Kiamko, Jose Perica, Efren Reyes, Gabe Owen, Stan Tarango. Yeah, so many good players. My God, you know.
You
Yeah,
played
in
Dan.
just regular, in just tournaments, you know.
You played Dan Louie. I mean, surely to God, you played
Dan
Dan
Louie,
Louie.
definitely. Yeah, Dan Louie,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
I remember early on when I first came down, one of the first events I did was the bar table. And again, I'm not that good of a pool player, but I remember walking out there late at night, going to hit balls, right? And I'm like, oh, there's an open table. I'll just hop on there, you know. I throw the balls out there and I'm hitting for a minute. And I noticed like the area around me has stopped moving. And I'm like, what the heck is going on, right? And I look over and I got Silver Ochoa on one side of me, Oscar and Ernesto Dominguez on the other side. Across from me is Glenn Atwell. And they're all sitting there watching, going, yes, easy money here.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's super easy. Just all of a sudden, you know, just if you're playing in the area, you're with the, you know, you can be playing the greats super easy. It's a very open sport, I suppose, in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things that I tell people about Derby is it's amazing. You walk 5 feet and there's an amazing match, and you walk 5
Right.
feet and there's an amazing match, and you walk 5.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, and it's international. How is this Kentucky tournament an international tournament? That's just
Dude,
amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, the thing is too, right? It's yeah, I mean, Derby City, if you love pool at all, that's the tournament to go to. I've been lucky and
Yeah.
privileged to be in the pool world, something I love,
Yeah.
and be at the US Open, all the, you know, Derby, all that. We run Derby. We've been running Derby. Yeah, I've been working there since Derby City 6. I think we've been actually running it for
A while.
2008. Either me or Bonnie was behind the desk and became the tournament directors, I want to say, in 2010.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like all the
So,
begging
yeah.
I did to get you to let me go last year was worth it the first 10 minutes I walked in the door.
Dude, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Oh,
just,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, most amateurs think Vegas because they don't know any better. I mean,
no, dude, no
and
way,
if they're
dude.
wanting to play and have a better chance, I mean, if they're wanting to compete, have a better chance to compete, yeah, go to Vegas. But you owe it to yourself to go to Derby. And I still wager once you've gone to Derby, you'll forget about Vegas.
It's definitely.
If you
Yeah,
love pool,
Derby's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just amazing. Yeah.
there's nothing like it, dude. I mean, I've had the first. I didn't tell you guys earlier, but the first year that Mark sent me down there, he had me room with Johnny Irvolino. I don't know if you guys know who he is,
I
but
know,
he was one of the one pocket greats. I believe he is the 1971 straight pool champion, or maybe one
Okay.
pocket champion, world champion back in 1971. Great guy, had a froggy, raspy voice
the
when he
voice
talked.
is what I always think of.
But just sitting in that action room, listening to him talk, and yeah, and Keith McCready's over here barking at people, and yeah, dude, just wow.
That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
You can't even fathom a better place.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can walk right up and hang out with him. I mean, I had
Right.
dinner with. That's how me and Bustamante became real tight. There was a snowstorm had come in, and everybody was frozen at Derby City, and I'm sure most the people that there are people that go every year. There was like 3 years that it got iced in. I think it was Derby City 6 or 7. So there was nowhere to sit in the restaurant. So I walked over. The only chair left was next to Ernesto, Bustamante, Efren, and Luot. we're all sitting at this table. So hey guys, can I sit? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I get to have dinner with three phenomenal Filipinos. I mean, Efren Reyes, really,
Yeah.
and he didn't know me. He didn't
Don't
care.
eat the food Booster brings you, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, you got
He brings
to.
some weird food.
Bustamante,
sometimes.
one time we were in
I
Reno
don't
for the bar.
know.
Well, we were at Derby, and he won the all around. And he's like, I want to do something for you and Bonnie. And it's like, no, he always tried to tip, and we'd always refused to. Because I consider Bustamante a friend, so I don't want his tip. So he's, well, okay, bar tables, next time we'll see each other, I'll buy you dinner. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. That I can do dinner. That'll be all right. So he gets there, and he's like, tomorrow night good? And I was like, sure, tomorrow night's good. And I said, I don't know if we can get away. He goes, well, I'll just bring dinner to you guys. And he brought us authentic Filipino food. Needless to say, I went and got other food. But yeah, it was a cool gesture that he went around Reno to find a place that made authentic Filipino food. And he could have just been screwing with us, but
I don't know.
oh my God, dude, I couldn't eat that stuff.
There was
But
not. I'm pretty adventurous with some of the food, but I don't know.
I always think it's funny when Boosty goes behind the tournament desk and gets the staff coffee.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's always been a tradition with us from the very first Derby City.
Right.
Because he only takes like this much coffee.
Right.
That's it. And he's just doing it to apparently caffeine does something for him. I got to have 2 gallons before caffeine starts kicking in for me. But
same here, man.
And he always asks for the creamer.
Dude, no, seriously, at the bar table, I think it was, I had met him at Derby. Bonnie was working that Derby, but I mean, it's not like she was, but me and Boosty were kind of friends before Bonnie started doing Derby. And yeah, he comes back at the bar table. Bonnie and him had become friends, and he pours some coffee, maybe a half a cup, and he's looking around, and Bonnie says, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Cream and sugar," and she goes, "Jesus Christ, man, drink it like a man." he didn't know what to say, right? So yeah, it was funny.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, drink it like a man.
Hey, so didn't you say you had some breaking news that on the story that we did yesterday?
Some breaking news, yeah.
Yeah.
How they do it? So now we got to do the goddamn news, and that's tribute to the guys we like to listen to, the podcast. Well, there's your problem.
All right.
So they do that every episode. But so Mike probably wasn't with us when we did the little release yesterday.
Mike, did you watch the video we put out?
A person.
Maybe not. I don't know. It'll depend. I'll have to see.
So up in Canada, the big hype is a guy there was $500 entry tournament, and he ran with the money.
He really did.
He played in the tournament, and the second day they brought back the final 8, which apparently is all that we're getting paid, and he ran with the $16,000. So all this has been all over Facebook and stuff. So yesterday we were doing some testing. We said, oh, well, let's call Dustin and see what he knows about it, right? So that was what we talked about yesterday, and we put it out. So this guy had taken the money and ran. It was 16 grand. Nobody had heard from him. Of course, my first reaction was, well, shit, is he dead?
Yeah, is he alive? Is he okay?
Been beaten up or something? And they said, yeah, he ran with the money, whatever. So the breaking news today is he finally has shown his face, posted on Facebook that, hey guys, I really fucked up, and it's gonna take me some time to, so just figured I'd update people in case they were tracking that. But yeah,
but his post is still just so funny.
There, so.
His reply is so freaking funny. Just where's the damn thing at? Because I screenshotted it. It was one of those deals where
Koby can't find it.
He's like,
He was just like, I fucked up.
He's like,
and,
yeah, I fucked up. I got to work
yeah,
on
I
some
gotta I'll
stuff.
take time to.
We'll chat later. And that was it. We'll chat later.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, in my experience, that money is just about impossible to get back. And the guys that say they're sorry are often doing that to just stretch the time out. Because if you just keep putting people off, pretty soon everybody's like, well, I don't even know, whatever.
right.
And it just goes away. And, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to hire a lawyer because you want your
Well,
eighth
that's a
place
big amount of
payment.
money. So who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully he makes it right, gets his life back
I
together.
hope so.
But
Yeah. It was.
yeah, that's a rough one.
I'm also in the process of getting the help I need to move forward in the positive manner in which I know I can with all of you. We'll chat soon.
Yeah.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah.
Like this and here.
I'm sorry, there's zero information in it. Those are just words together. Just they're just nothing.
Yeah,
Just seriously. There's zero information in that. There's just zero.
Yeah, that wasn't the whole post, but he
Right.
never really does give.
I read the whole post. Yeah, I read the whole post. Yeah.
But yeah, but
He wants to get it out there that he screwed up. But again, it's just
yeah,
even that. Like, what do you mean you screwed up? Explain to me. Like, what?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the
Yeah,
record,
it's
can you
it's a
tell us
stall
what you
tactic.
did wrong? Yeah.
Maybe this
Well, I'm
will go
saying,
away.
do you have a drug addiction or a gambling addiction, or did you owe gangsters money,
Right.
or like what
Yeah.
So the
or
rumor
don't tell me
was
that's
he had
fine, but
So the rumor was he had asked somebody to borrow $6,000 right before the event. So
oh Jesus.
good Lord, man. We're talking if it's gone, that's $22,000 if somebody loaned him money. But anyway, that's the news for today.
Okay.
So how much
Yeah.
money have you guys lost playing pool or won? Or whatever.
I've never kept track of
Oh
it.
God.
I obviously haven't gone without a meal, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, just give me like a funny story. You have any funny gambling things or
No.
something
not
hilarious from Pool League or why
I
you
played
keep playing?
I played Matt Horner, Race to 8, Winter Break, Loser Rack, Magic Rack, 9-foot diamond, $200. I drove to Salem to play him. I drove an hour to play him. He won the flip. He broke and ran every rack. I stood up to rack for him, sat down. He'd break and run. I stood up to rack. That we did that until he won 8-0, and I paid him $200 and I drove home.
Ouch.
Jesus Christ, dude. Learn how to rack.
Magic rack, man. No, listen, more power to
I'm
him.
just saying. Stick a pencil in it, dude. I mean,
cock that shit off a little bit or a little further forward or something.
Yeah, and I'd say for my
Stick a
money
pencil
wins,
in it.
I've had some fun ring game nights of $200-300. I've definitely won $200 or $300 from guys before. My big money would be tournament stuff. You know what I mean? Where I'm cashing for $1,000 or $200 in a tournament. I'd say my payouts are more about tournaments.
Yeah.
Yep. Me too.
I'm a cheap ass.
Me too. I really wasn't. So, I mean, my philosophy was like gambling if you want to, but to me, it's like, can you beat my ass or can I beat your ass for nothing? To me, it seemed like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that probably sounds absolutely insane because people like to gamble and the 200 means more, 400 means more. What I want to know is, can I whip your ass for nothing other than pride?
Right.
To me,
Right.
that's
Right.
kind of the mindset I had.
I want to make sure that the money's not causing getting your nerves all up in it and all that stuff. Let's just, yeah.
Yeah, I was testing myself to just see if I had game without anything to ride on it other than
Yeah.
pride.
Yeah, so like the only funny story, and it's really not that funny, like 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, 2018, I think. We go to Tulsa to play another damn moose tournament. Seemed like that's the only place I play.
That's what I hear.
So one of my good friends' name is Cody. All the regular listeners will know him as NASA. And my name is Koby. And so they're having a players auction. And, they go down the line. They're auctioning off me. But this guy in the crowd thinks it's NASA. And so, man, they're running me up. And I'm just like, who the fuck's bidding on me? Because none of these people know me, So they run me up to
and
NASA.
he's like 120 Fargo higher.
Yeah, he's like 80 points.
Isn't NASA like 180?
No, he's probably like 80 points higher than me. Because they've dropped. I've gone up and he's dropped a little bit. So, 80 to 100 point difference. So it's pretty drastic difference. And so it all gets done. This guy still
by
doesn't.
Fargo, that's twice as good.
Yeah, Ricer math. And so they get down to pay time, and I go up to this guy to pay for my half. I'm like, hey man, you bought me for say it was like $120 or something. Here's my half. He's like, I didn't buy you. I bought Cody. I'm like, no. They're like, you bought me. I was like, I went and checked just to make sure. Like, and you could just see in his face, he was like, oh fuck, Well, joke's on him because I got second. I don't know what Cody ended up in that tournament, but I was the last Duncan player playing. It's like, you lucky son of a bitch. Like, you just accidentally bought me, and then I got in the money and made it probably the best day of your life. So, but yeah, his facial expression.
Yeah, and if he'd have known who it was, he might not have bought you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one.
That is funny.
I had one, and then maybe we can think about wrapping up. But it's been a long day for me. I was at Grand Central gambling. We used to go there on the weekends, Friday and Saturday nights. There were always a lot of Asian gang members there at Grand Central, and a lot of just gang members in general, I would say. This would be 1988, I'd say, and there was a gang in town from California that this was when Asian gangs didn't have names. They just were. So they didn't wear colors. They had the cigarette burns on their forearms in patterns, and they would roll up the sleeves of their long sleeve shirts, their button-up collared shirts, so you'd see the burns, and that's how you'd know that they were gang members. Anyway, I like to gamble with Cece, who was the leader of this gang. There's like 8 of them up from California. I assume they were trying to get out of California for a little while. I play Cece a few weeks in a row, and we get along good. And then one week I'm playing him, and he's drunk or high or something, and we're playing, and I'm up about $100, and it's clear it's not going his way. And he at one point, we're playing like 8-ball, and he makes like a striped solid combo, something he knows is not legal. And he keeps shooting, okay? And I go, oh, Cece, you can't, no, man, you can't do that. He keeps shooting. I put my cue down on the table so he can't shoot anymore, and I take a couple steps towards him. Now, at this point, they've been in town for a while, so he came to town with 8 guys. There's more guys now. Let's say there's 12 of them. Grand Central it's tight, and all 12 guys have their backs against the wall watching Cece and I play. As soon as I set my cue down and take a step towards Cece, these are all Vietnamese guys. They all start yelling at me in Vietnamese. It reminded me of a pack of wild dogs on the other side of a fence. Okay? None of them move away from the wall at all, but they all start yelling at me angrily. Cece stays calm. I stay calm, and Cece tells him it's okay. I pick my cue up. Cece continues shooting, okay? I'm losing the argument. So I'm up about $120 on Cece. Pretty soon, Cece says, the lowest man on the totem pole. Okay, there's this young kid that's with the group, but he's obviously lowest guy on the totem pole. Cece says, "This kid's gonna play you now. He plays better than me," which I know is bullshit. The reason I'm playing CC is he's the best player amongst the group. And if you know much about gang stuff, that's pretty typical. The guys that are in the gangs and the leaders of the gangs, they're the ones that are good at everything. They're the friendly ones. They're the funny ones. They're personable, and they're very good at things. They're, that's typically how it's going to go. So anyway, he tells me I'm going to play this kid. I'm like, "What's up with the money?" He says, "Oh, the kid has the money." And at this point, I'm not in an arguing mood, obviously, right? So I start playing the kid. Well, CC and his friends slowly disappear out of the room in the next 30 minutes or so, just one at a time. Yep. I'm playing the kid. I'm making up numbers now, but I'm up $150. And I say to the kid, "Hey, man," and by this time, CC, the whole gang's gone. And this kid's turning green. He's sick. He doesn't know what I'm going to do. He doesn't know how this is going to do. I'm not going to do shit because lowest man on the totem pole or not, he's with CC's gang. Nothing's happening to this kid, but he's very uncomfortable. And there's a language barrier. This is mid 80s. So right. A lot of these are guys that are new to America from early 70s, mid 70s, after the war. Cambodian, Laotian, Vietnamese. Anyway, I tell the kid, "Well, you got, pay me what you got." The kid hands me $20 maybe. I'm like, "All right, we're good." I get stuck with time for hours at Grand Central. Next week, I go to Grand Central. CC and his gang are there. CC's not drunk or high anymore. I say, "Hey, man, I think you still owe me $120. He says, "Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely get that to you." However he says that. I see him the next week. I'm like, "Hey, man, $120. He says, "Oh, yeah, definitely going to get that to you." Except he says it in his own words. The next week I see him, I'm starting to get afraid this is going to turn into a problem for me. I say, "Hey, man, give me $20 and we're just going to call it even, CC, because I like you and I don't want to worry about it, man. Let's just get this over with." And to be honest with you, I don't think he gave me the whole $20, but we called it good, man. We decided we're good, man. That's good, CC. We're buddies. Don't worry about it. And then shortly after that, CC and his gang left town again.
Dang.
That's my funny gambling story, man.
Yeah.
It's a ride. Yeah.
I have a lot. That was just part of pool in Portland in the mid 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Next episode, remind me to tell you about the
hell John stop.
Okay.
In Portland. At Sandy Lanes, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Boy, the video on our end froze.
Yeah, you guys are
Mike D froze.
You guys are getting froze up.
Yeah.
You guys froze up a couple minutes ago. I didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. Hey, we're back.
We froze up.
And we're back. It looks like everybody's moving again.
An unfortunate frame to freeze on.
Stupid internet.
Do you guys mind if I wrap it up?
Nah, go ahead.
Wrap it up, man. We'll next episode we'll hit the other stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're going to talk
really
about
want to thank everybody for joining us. We really want to thank everybody for joining us. Seriously, we hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're being entertained. This is Out of Pocket with BadBoys. Ric Jones, Kenny Jones, Koby Pilgrim, and Mike D. And like I say, we really appreciate you guys checking it out. We're going to get better. We'll get it figured out. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe. Tell us what you think in the comments.
Oh, shit. Why are the cops always here?
Yeah, shit. Why are the cops always here?